9, this is dispatch.
What's going on YouTube? Buck Rub here. Welcome to another edition of Buck Wild Trucking. I think that last time that I talked to you that I told you that my next video I would most likely have another job, and I do not. I am still in my loaner truck waiting on my truck to be fixed, and we had a few changes that made me elect to stay where I'm at. I had 5 job offers. The 2 companies that I was really interested in going to, neither one of them called me back. I had tried to call them and emailed them, and they never responded back. So I think that when it was all said and done, and things went to their safety department, and I probably just didn't have enough experience, and that's definitely understandable. But then after I decided not to leave this company, one of those 2 companies did call me and tell me that they were having trouble getting my current employer to verify my employment, and I told them I had elected to stay there anyway, so but I would keep them in mind for future reference. But yeah, that was one of the problems I had is my boss doesn't want me to leave, so he won't return any of the phone calls or emails to any of my prospective employers. I had 5 job offers though, and those 5 were willing to take my logs and my pay stubs as confirmation of employment. But then my boss offered, he asked me if I wanted to book my own freight. And yeah, I'll be willing to give that a go, book my own freight and get a percentage of the load. So I gave that a go for 2 weeks, and I didn't do bad. My first week, was a little rough. I generated like $3,650 for the truck in 5 days, which my boss said that wasn't bad. And then the next week I generated $5,175 for the truck, which ended up really good. It's going to be my best paycheck I've had with this company, and I enjoyed it. I was calling the brokers, booking the loads, negotiating the rates. I think my boss was pretty impressed, but I also think that he realizes that he's training me to be a competitor. I don't know, but last week he called me and asked me if I was interested in a dedicated run, running back and forth from Houston to New Jersey, supposedly all drop and hook, and it would generate the truck $4,500 a week, and I would get my percentage, and I'd be home every weekend. And man, that's just that's pretty hard to beat, and still continue to get the same percentage that I'm getting. So I told him I would do that. So this week was the start of that dedicated run. I am in Tom's Brook, one of the 2, Virginia, where I elected to spend the night. My buddy Ryder told me that I probably ought to stop and stay here because I'm going to have to go through Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, and he told me that I'd be better off stopping for the night, getting up early in the morning and trying to get through there before rush hour traffic, which is what I'm going to do. But this dedicated run, we're just going to see how it works out. I'll do it for another week and see if I want to continue, but it's not playing out to be what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be pick up there in Houston with a trailer that's ready to go on Monday, bring it up here, drop it, have another trailer ready to go, head back to Houston, be home Friday, be off the weekend. But that's not the way it's working out. Monday, I show up to the shipper, and it's a refinery there, and First of all, they searched my truck. I'd never seen anything like it. I've had people look in my truck before, but security, they actually climbed in my truck. They rifled through my clothes, looked around through all my stuff, and I don't care for that much at all. But then I get into the shipper, and they tell me that my trailer hasn't been loaded yet to park, and that they would call me when my trailer was loaded. So I sat there from 11:30 to 4:30, and they called me on the phone and they said, hey, your trailer is not going to be ready until later this evening and you need to leave the premises. And the only place to park was about 15 miles away, the Petro, so I left the premises, and when I left, they searched my vehicle again. Got in, climbed all up in here, rifled through all my shit, yeah. And I'm glad I didn't bring my dog, because I thought about bringing my dog. Had I brought my dog, I would have had to leave her at the guard shack chained up to a pole. So I'm glad I didn't do that. Needless to say, I got back to the Petro, and they ended up calling me, telling me my trailer's ready, and I went back to pick it up. This is a funny story in itself. I go and I get my paperwork. They tell me what lot it is, what trailer it is. So I go to the lot and I look around. There's no trailer. So I drive around probably about 3 times just to make sure that I wasn't messed up, and there was no trailer there. So I turn around and go back to the shipping department, and there's my trailer hooked to the back of another diesel. So I pull up next to him. I said, hey, you've got my trailer. And she says, okay. I said, well, why don't you spin it around and drop it? She goes, well, I thought it was an empty. Well, did you pre-trip your trailer? Well, of course I did, she said. And I said, well, did you not see the seal on the back door? So anyway, she ended up dropping the trailer there. I grabbed it, spun around, went out through the guard shack, and they didn't search me this time. This time they just got in and looked out. But I did get searched coming in, leaving, coming back in, and then that last time they just looked at my truck and let me go. I was talking to the guard on the way out about my trailer. Sorry, I had a phone call. It was my boss. So anyway, I leave. I go to leave, and I'm talking to the security guard, and was telling him about this gal that had my trailer, and he said she actually tried to leave the plant with that trailer, and rather than taking it and putting it back where she got it, she just kind of sat there outside the shipping office, stupid, not knowing what to do. So I won't mention the company. But anyway, I got out of there, started on my way. Well, by that time it was so late, and I'd been up all day, so I just spent the night in Beaumont. I would have been out of time. I only had like 3 hours time left anyway, so I just elected to go ahead and spend the night there in Beaumont and head out Tuesday. So that put me a day behind. So I thought, well, I could still make it theoretically here by Wednesday night, and so I got up early Tuesday morning and drove 11 hours. Spent the night somewhere. These places run together. I don't even remember. I don't remember where I spent the night last night. And then drove again and started up this way, and I wasn't going to make it. I was going to be about an hour and a half shy of getting to where I needed to be anyway. There's really no truck stops in Washington, D.C. or Baltimore that probably would have had any space left by the time I got there, so I decided to stay here. And I was going to get up at like 2 in the morning so I could be there early, grab my drop my trailer, grab my trailer, because I'm supposed to have another drop and hook there waiting on me, and head back to Houston and maybe save part of this weekend, because there's just no way I'm going to make it back before Saturday now. And so I call my boss and I tell him, where I'm at, what time I'm gonna leave, when I'll be there, and he tells me, oh yeah, they're gonna have you a trailer ready at noon. At noon. So anyway, well, that was my boss that just called, and he said that maybe they'll have me a trailer by 9. I typically doubt it. Things just don't seem to be going the way that I thought they would. So that's the story of this. I mean, I'm making good money, you know, and I have options. Yesterday was 6 months, six months driving yesterday. So now I have a lot more places that I can go. There were a couple places I applied for that wouldn't talk to me. But buying my truck is not out of the question. I got to tell you, there's a lot of freight out there that pays really good. When I was booking my phone freight and negotiating with the brokers, you know, even when I accepted a load, all that had to go back to my company for approval, and then he had to send in paperwork if we weren't approved with that particular broker. All of that was kind of a nightmare. Had I been able to handle all of this myself, I think I could have generated even more than that 5175 that I generated last week, and not have to worry about the wait. You know, I could book freight, I could go get it, I could go. Buying my own truck is not out of the question at all, and it's something me and my wife talk about every single day. My truck is supposedly fixed now. The computer's been reprogrammed, the DEF system delete. My boss drove it the other day to deliver a load, and at first he told me it was running real good and getting really good gas mileage or fuel mileage, but then he called me later in the day and said something's not right and he was going to have to send the computer back. But I think there's something else going on, but I won't mention that either. That'll be another video once we find out what's wrong with it. But needless to say, I probably will not have my truck back again for who knows how long. It's been 7 or 8 weeks now for something that was supposed to be fixed in a week. Welcome to trucking. Well, that's all I have for now. Again, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer anything that I can. And I can't end my videos with peace anymore. Next Generation Trucker says I've copied him, and we don't want me copying other people. You know, I like to try to be original, unlike some other people. You know. All right, take care, folks.